walk us through your process a little bit, because I know that I've shown you pictures before and I'm like, I don't know what these are. I don't know what the value is. So how do you kind of come to learning about the whiskey, kind of knowing what's in it, where it came from, where it originated, and then getting into sort of valuation sort of stuff?
The easiest way to do it is to be surrounded by a vintage bourbon bar like I am and drink it every day and compare and contrast. I mean, it's tiny little things. Sometimes you'll see a cap on one bottle and you're like, oh, but I saw that on this bottle. And then you compare them and they're identical. And you're like, okay, so this must have been bottling here. And there's a million tiny little threads you can tie together, whether it's verbiage on the label. We had a bottle of old cork that I'd never seen in my life before from 1920. And it said fragrant as a rose on it, which is the Mammoth Cave slogan. So it's like, okay, you put that together. It's easiest to do if you're already surrounded by a bunch of vintage whiskey, which I luckily am every day. I mean, start with Google, go from there.
Yeah.
I get hit up all the time from auction houses and places to like validate bottles, and I have a bunch of tools that I have from like the old days of like, prior to 1950, they published a lot of details. Like the trade would publish details and they would have actual blue books. And it's very easy to validate bottles from that period. And there was also a lot of like bootleggers who would try to like fake stuff from back in that time. Do you ever get any like products that might have, that were bootlegged, or any kind of like, you spot any like counterfeit kind of stuff?
Period fakes are almost more fun because, you're seeing, I've never, to my knowledge, we've not had anybody bring one to us, but it is a little bit more intimidating to walk through the door with something where you have to be there in person and say,
right,
do you want this? Because the boys' response, if there's any question whatsoever, is, well, let's open it. And, if you want to do that, we can do that right now, sell it out in the bar. If you don't, then we're going to walk away from this. But I've yet to find one that was, I guess, good enough to be considered a period fake. It's more common to see them that they're faked modernly.